Morning family, trust you're good wherever you are and you're experiencing the Lord's favor wherever you are. Welcome to the Waterbrooks channel. Do not forget to press the subscribe button and the notification button. So we're going to continue dissecting Jesus Christ, the next aspect on our discussion, we're going to look at Jesus Christ being the Son of God. So now, one of the questions that he posed to his disciples, he asked them, who do the people say I am? Who do the people say I am? So Peter responded by saying, you are the Son of God, the Son of the Most High. Jesus Christ said to him, Peter, son of Jonah, this has not been revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father who is in heaven. So family, that's what I want us to talk about. That has it been revealed to you, has it been revealed to me that Jesus Christ is the Son of God? Because the significance of us acknowledging that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Look at 1 John 4 verse 15. It says, if anyone acknowledges that Jesus is the Son of God, God lives in them and they are in God. So you want God to live in you or you want to be in God, we first have to acknowledge that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. And for us to get to that level, it needs to be revealed, because once it has been revealed, that's where the conviction, I truly believe that's where the conviction of our salvation starts. That once it gets revealed that he is the Son of God, that he was not just another prophet that God had sent. So now, what is the significance? Why should we know that he is the Son of God? Now, look at Matthew. Let's go to Matthew chapter 3. This is the part where John is supposed to baptize him. So Matthew chapter 3, we'll start from verse 13. It reads as follows. Then Jesus came from Galilee to Jordan to be baptized by John. But John tried to deter him, saying, I need to be baptized by you, and you come to me. Before we continue, let us look at that baptism aspect. Family, baptism is the process by which you are fully immersed underwater. So now, not being sprinkled or deep on the forehead, not all of that. Baptism is being fully immersed. Why? This is symbolic that the old you is being buried. And yeah, he has died and is being buried. And the new you, when you come out of the water, a new you is going to be resurrected with Christ. So a new temple is born again. So that's why baptism, you have to be fully immersed. However, take note that you have to renew your mind daily so that and you focus it on Christ. Because if you don't, habits have a tendency of showing. So the old you has a tendency of being resurrected if you do not renew your mind. And then Paul says, we serve the law of the Lord with our minds. So if your mind is not renewed, chances are, the old you might get resurrected. So now, here's another thing that we need to highlight. I need to highlight when it comes to baptism. So now, baptism is the process of which you are fully immersed. You are immersed into a school of thought, or as we say in the in the church, doctrine. You are immersed into that doctrine that whoever baptizes you. Because now, here Jesus Christ insisted on being baptized by John. Why is that? When you go to Matthew chapter 3, the very same chapter, it says John was preaching the message of the kingdom. So as John was preaching the message of the kingdom, that's what Jesus Christ immersed himself in. You can guess what Jesus Christ preached. He preached the message of the kingdom post him being baptized or after the temptation. As we continue reading, verse 15, Jesus replied, let it be so. It is proper for you to do this to fulfill the righteousness. John baptized him, of course. I want us to go to 17. A voice from heaven said, this is my son, I love, with him I am pleased. So after Jesus Christ was baptized, God saw it fitting that he opens up the heavens and proclaims that Jesus Christ is his son, whom he loves and is well pleased. Affirmation, families. Affirmation. So God affirmed who Christ is. So I think we need to develop that culture to affirm our kids' family, to affirm our colleagues, to affirm our loved ones. It is very important. But now, after God affirms that Jesus Christ is his son, right, whom he loves, chapter 4, he goes into the wilderness to get tempted by the devil, of course. So now, when you look at those temptations, I saw something quite peculiar. So now, when you look at it, let's look at them. So, chapter 4, verse 2. The first temptation, he says to Jesus, if you are the Son of God, turn these stones into bread. Now, before you continue the turning stones into bread, he is questioning his identity. He's questioning if you are the Son of God. Even the next temptation, that's what he does. He says, if you are the Son of God, throw yourselves, and it is written, the angels will catch you. So family, I want to say the temptation here was about his identity. It's very important for us to know who we are and who we belong to. Because now, not knowing, it leads us to Adam and Eve. Because when you go back to Genesis chapter 3, and you look at the temptation that the devil brought forth to Adam and Eve, it's more or less the same. It was about identity. Because he says to Eve, eat of the fruit, you will be like God. And in chapter 1:26, it says, he has made man in his image. We were already like, Adam and Eve were already like God. But the temptation, he says, eat the fruit and you will be like God. You know? So now, that's where the challenge lies. Say, they did not know, or it was not yet affirmed in them. They were not convicted that they are like God. So what's the significance? What's the significance of us knowing that we are in the image of God, or we are like God, or we are the sons of God? Now, we would have to go to Galatians 4, 4 to 7. Let's go there. Paul says, Galatians 4, Galatians chapter 4, 4 to 7. It reads as follows. So you are no longer a slave, but God's children. Okay, let's start at 4. But when the set time had fully come, God sent his son, born of the woman, born under the law, so to redeem those under the law, that we might receive adoption to sonship, because you are his sons. God sent the spirit of his son into your heart, the spirit that calls out, Abba, Father. So family, we need to understand that we are in the image of God. We are sons, family. We have been adopted into the family of Christ, and we are joined heirs with Christ. So now, that's the significance of Christ being affirmed by God in Matthew chapter 3, that he is the Son of God. So same goes with us, family, that we are sons of God and we are heirs with Christ. So now, for us to appreciate what it means to be an heir, we have to go look at Luke 15, the two boys, the older one and the younger one, so that we can appreciate what does it mean to be a son in the house. So now, when you go to Luke 15, I just want to touch it. We can read the whole chapter, 11 to 31, verse 11 to 31. I just want to touch the last part, verse 31. It says, the older boy was complaining when the prodigal son had come back home. So the father had he killed a cow so that they can celebrate that the boy is back. But now the older one was complaining. This is what the father said. Son, you are always with me, and all that I have is yours. So once you know that you are a son in your father's kingdom, all that he has is yours. So the question this morning is, do you know that you are a son? Do you know what your father has? Family, that's the question. Because if you know what your father has, why do we have so many believers that are struggling? Could it be? I've got two possibilities. One, could it be that we have the tendency or the spirit of the older brother? We are in the house, we are with the Father, and yet all we want to do is to serve and please the Father. We do not know that He has said, "This is my Son whom I love and I'm well pleased." We do not know that. That's why we behave with the servant or slave mentality, that we are waiting for the Father to give us the goat to slaughter. Whereas He says, "All I have is yours. Take it, it's yours." The other point I think would be Hosea 4:6. It says, "My people perish because of lack of knowledge." The question this morning would be, lack of knowledge of what? How things operate. He says He will bless the works of your hands. So God will not give us miraculous money if we are going to say these are the things that we want. He will bless the works of your hand. You need to go work the land, and then He will bless the works of your hand. So my people perish because of lack of knowledge of the subject of economics. Could it be that that's why we've got so many believers struggling, even though the Father says, "All I have is yours," because we do not want to apply our minds, or we do not want to, do not want to apply our minds in terms of how the system, the worldly system operates. We are not of this world, but we are in this world. We need to understand how it works so that we can better ourselves. I thank you, family.